I'm going to tell you how I got into broadcast journalism and give you some tips if you plan to do the same. Thank you for logging on to my channel. Over here, we are being intentional, we're being strategic so that we can be successful. Today, I'm going to tell you guys how I got into broadcast journalism.
5 on your side's Brittney Werner is live to show us how it happened. Brittney?
When I went to college, I didn't know that I wanted to be a news reporter. I was a nursing major at first. I took most of my beginning science classes and I got all the way past anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 while I was taking a public speaking class simultaneously, and I fell in love with that class. We had assignments where we basically had to give a speech in front of the class, and it's just something that came natural to me. And I wanted to explore that more, so I did. There were about 6 or 7 people inside this house when that shooting happened. Let me show you what this looks like. So I graduated from Oakland University. That is my alma mater in Rochester Hills, Michigan. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism with a minor in public relations. So I started taking more journalism classes, and I started hosting a radio show on my college campus radio, WXOU 88.3 FM. And I absolutely fell in love with DJing. Oh my God, it was so fun because I love music and I love to talk. So it was like a combination of both. It was called Talk Juicy. I had 2 different co-hosts. We would bring guests in. We would talk about real life issues. I brought in one of my former bosses who was this badass entrepreneur. I love her, Tawny's World. Follow her. We brought her in to talk about starting a business and branding yourself. I had a show that was after 10 o'clock, so you could play whatever you wanted to play. If it had cussing, it was fine. I got to play all the underground artists. Then I had the vision that, hey, I love this radio show, but I want to turn this into a talk show. I started interning at a public access station called ONTV. That's how I came up with the name Brittney on TV. And while I was doing that, I expressed to them that, hey, I have this radio show on campus. I already kind of have a listening or a following for it. I would love to turn it into a talk show and kind of see what happens. My co-host at the time was my best friend, Lolly Leanne, on Instagram. So I told her about it. We brainstormed together. She loved it. So we did it. I know it was a little not the best quality, but it was so fun. Please don't go back and watch the shows. Thank God for growth. It was my baby. It was something that I birthed. I had so much fun doing it. It was a space where I could be creative. I talked about different things, current events, politics, fashion, pop culture, music. Like, it was just so many fun topics that us millennials were talking about already. And it was just a space for us to kind of let it all out and converse. Then I interned at WJBK, Fox 2 News Detroit.
The officer, Detroit Police Corporal Dwayne Jones, was convicted last year of misdemeanor assault and battery.
But now it appears Jones is up for a promotion to the rank of sergeant.
News in Detroit is like no other. That is like one of the greatest markets that you could ever work in if you're a television news professional. A lot of the people who I grew up watching, some of them, they're still on television there in Detroit, Michigan. Legends. Hill Perkins, legend. When I started interning there, it changed my life. Finally saw what it was like to work in news. They were top 10 at the time. Top 10 in the country. Just like being in that fast-paced environment and surrounded by all of these people who I grew up watching, around those people and like submerging myself in that atmosphere and then going above and beyond to get the most out of that internship. That was a turning point for me. My internship was in the creative services department, but this is how thirsty I was. I would come in on my days off, wasn't scheduled to be there. I would come in on the morning shift. You have to be in like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. I would come in at that time so that I can follow their reporters on my day off. That's how hungry I was. That's how much I wanted to know what it was like to be in that position, what it was like to responsibly do that job. I learned so much from everyone at the station, every single person, even if I didn't get a chance to shadow them directly. Like, there was something to learn from everybody. in terms of how they all work together, how they intertwine to make a great show and to keep the community informed. That's what helped shape me to be a great journalist, to be a savvy reporter, a millennial multimedia journalist starting out in the news industry. That's what helped me. It was the internships, hands down. While they're writing their story, I'm writing a story because we both got the same information. And so when I was done, I'm comparing my story to their story, and they're in the top 10 market. So this was helping me, learn how to write for news, learning how to talk with people in the community, learning how to deal with those tragic situations when you just find out that kids were found in a freezer. And I say all that to say this: you don't know where to start, check out the public access stations in your area. See if there's a way you can learn how to work the camera, volunteer. See if there's a way you can shadow people. The public access station is going to be your best bet because usually that's a community television station. So they're always looking for volunteers. They're always looking for people to intern. Once you learn how to edit on one software, it's a cakewalk to edit on any other software because they're very similar. But if you want to be in broadcast journalism, I encourage you, learn as much as you can how to do all of those things because that is the future of news. There's already top markets that have multimedia journalists who do everything themselves. It's probably only going to continue to happen as these larger corporations try to cut down on cost and have people do more for less money. But my advice to those people who are trying to break into the industry, reach out to people who are already doing this. Look on their social media pages, their LinkedIn pages specifically. Scroll down and see how they got into the industry. Where did they intern at? What was their first job? To try and gain some insight of how you can sort of make your own pathway based off of the research that you've done on other people. You never know how someone can help you, what person they could connect you with to lead you to your destiny. You don't know, a reel or a demo reel is your resume tape in the news industry. Combination of your work that you've done for whatever period of time, showing you doing different stories, different stand-ups, different live shots. It's a combination of all of those. You edit it, upload it to YouTube. It's there so that whenever people want to see your resume, they can click the link and go and view your work. That internship was very, very difficult, but I pushed myself. I had 2 jobs, 2 internships, 6 classes, a leadership position in my organization, Alpha Kappa Psi. I was a crazy person. How did I survive? It was a lot. Then after all of that, after my internships, after my courses, once I graduated college, then I had to find a job. Most of my friends, they already had their job or their offer letters back in December last semester. Meanwhile, I had to have a resume tape, so I couldn't submit it until that was done. And everybody knows it could take 3 to 6 months to find your first job out of college. So I hope that helps and gives you an idea of how I got started in the business and maybe how you can too. Thank you for watching my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. Ciao.